Okay. Is everybody ready to get started?
Whenever you say so. We can call the May 4th Bellbrook Village Review Board hearing to order.
All right, Mr. Camp,
I'm here.
Mrs. McGill,
Here.
Mrs. Greenwood, Mr. Owens.
Here. Very good. We can move on to the approval of the minutes from the January 6th meeting. Any comments, corrections, changes? Otherwise, we seek a motion.
I motion to approve the minutes from the January 6th meeting.
Seconded.
A motion was made by Mr. Camp to approve the minutes from the January 6th, 2021 Village Review Board meeting, and this was seconded by Mrs. Greenwood. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Oh, was it Mrs. McGill?
I did, but I don't know if Jackie did too.
I think
I'll-
Jackie's on mute.
Okay, it was Mrs.
Can you hear me
McGill then.
now?
Yeah.
Okay, moving on, item 4, old business. Anything we have on the agenda that nothing listed here? Nope, okay. Then let's move on to item section 5, new business. The first one would be the Village Review Board 21-30 for 13 South Main Street sign project.
Can you hear me okay? Okay. So the request is to install a projecting sign to replace the current one at 13 South Main. The applicant's name is Brian Burns. The property owner is S. Augustine. The height is 28 inches and the width is 44 inches for a total square feet of 8.55. It would be mounted where the previous sign is located, and the material would be aluminum core for the sign face and iron pipe for the frame. The sign meets all zoning regulations, and staff recommends the Village Review Board approve the request for a projecting sign at 13 South Main Street in Bellbrook, Ohio.
Okay. Is this new business or just a rename?
A mixture of both. So Miami Taxidermy will be operating some in the building as well, but it is a new business mostly, from my understanding. So he has been doing taxidermy in Dayton for a while, and apparently he's just taking over the building. And the gentleman who was running Miami Taxidermy, I guess, is retiring, and we would like to go in and occasionally on the weekends and stuff work in there too. So
Okay. Very good. I like the black pipe.
I stopped in and talked to him today. Really nice guy. And basically everything that she just said was covered. and he was going to build the sign himself and showed me where it was located and everything. And it seems like a go. There's no problem as far as I can see. I got to go in and see all the taxidermy animals, which were kind of gross, but it was neat. It's got a great big black bear in there if anybody wants to go in and see a black bear close up. He just did it about 2 weeks ago.
Ooh,
But he's improving it. The outside's starting to look really nice, so that's a plus also. So I'm really
Mhm.
happy with it. Not crazy about taxidermy, but it was still interesting.
okay. Is that a motion?
I make a motion to approve the sign on, what's the address? I'm sorry.
13 South Main.
Yeah, 13 South Main.
Okay,
I second.
very good. Any other discussion? Okay,
All right, Mrs. Greenwood made a motion to approve BRB 21-30 projecting sign at 13 South Main Street, and this was seconded by Mr. Camp. Mrs. Greenwood,
Yes.
Mr. Camp,
Yes.
Mrs. McGill,
Yes.
Chairman Owens.
yes. Okay, moving on to Village Review Board 21-39 for 100 East Franklin Street, the demolition request.
I think maybe we should do the signs first and then move to the demolition request because that's going to be the meat of the meeting. I don't know if Pam.
Okay.
Best.
All right, that's a good idea. Okay, let's jump to 21-41 for 76 Bellbrook Plaza, the wall sign.
So the request is to install a wall sign at 76 Bellbrook Plaza. The applicant's name is Cody Amstis. The property owner is Brian Coe. The height is 4 feet by 4 feet and for a total of 16 square feet. There is an existing sort of window-esque structure there. I sent a picture in the staff report. So it would be encompassing that area. The material would be vinyl. The sign meets all current zoning regulations, and staff recommends the Village Review Board approve the request for flat sign at 76 Bellbrook Plaza.
Okay. Any questions? It does look like they have a nice little spot to put it there.
I motion to approve the sign for the massage place in Bellbrook Plaza.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I second it.
Okay, any other discussion?
All right, Mr. Camp made a motion to approve 21-41 wall sign at Bellbrook Plaza, and this was seconded by Mrs. McGill. Mr. Camp,
Yes.
Mrs. McGill,
Yes.
Mrs. Greenwood,
Yes.
Chairman Owens.
Yes. And moving on to the Village Review Board 21-49 for 129 West Franklin Street ground sign.
The request is to install a revised sign at 129 West Franklin. This would replace the Wetland sign. The applicant is John Landesidel and Rick Martin. The property owner is LAK Enterprises, but it's actually being a land contract with L&L Diversified. The sign dimensions are 24 inches in width and, 24 inches in height and 71 inches in width for a total of 11.83 square feet in total square feet. So it's adjacent to the Franklin right-of-way there. The material is a Alumicore, and the sign meets all current regulations, and staff recommends the Village Review Board approve the request for a freestanding sign at 129 West Franklin.
So is the, so basically the new sign is the same size as the Zetland sign? Is that
Correct.
what you're saying? Okay, okay. No, just a matter of taking one down and putting one up.
Correct.
And then I noticed, that you, wavered the permit fee. Is that because there's already pre-existing sign there, or how does that work?
That's because they replaced all those signs there and they had already paid fees for those, and there was an outstanding violation for that sign, particularly from the previous property owner. So as kind of a sign of good faith and goodwill, I waived it, so.
Okay. It looks like a nice addition.
Mhm.
It does, it does.
Yep. Okay. Is there a motion on the sign for Art Town?
I move that we approve the sign at 129 West Franklin Street.
I second the motion.
Okay, any other conversation?
Mrs. McGill made a motion to approve 2149 ground sign at 129 West Franklin Street. And this was seconded by Mrs. Greenwood. Mrs. McGill,
Yes.
Mrs. Greenwood,
Yes,
Mr. Camp,
Yes.
Mr. Owens.
Yes. Very good. And now we'll go back to 21-39 for 100 East Franklin Street demolition request.
So this is going to be a bit lengthy, and I apologize if, for it. There's just a lot of information to go over. The request has been submitted to demolish 100 East Franklin Street. The claim is that the building is beyond repair and that the cost of repairs would be too substantial to complete said repairs. The applicant is Nathan Clemens. The property owner is Dennis Edwards. The contractor, I would believe, would also be Nate Clemens, correct?
Yes, yeah,
The property sits on about 0.8 acres. It last sold in 2019 for $72,000. The appraised land is approximately $32,000, and the appraised building is approximately $37,000. The applicant stated that the cost of repair would be around $295,000. There has been other previous demolition requests. There was one in 2016, but that didn't go anywhere. Someone had actually approached Eileen, and it never progressed or proceeded forward. And then there was one official one in 1995. However, the request was denied based on inaccurate interpretation of the code. So I also included a couple of calculations that I thought would help the board maybe in making their decision. So I added the amount of the building plus the cost to repair, and divided it by 120, which is 10 years. And then it equates to about $3,083. And then I did that for 20 years just to see roughly, without any sort of, I guess, annual percentage rate, what would be needed to regain that money, that investment, should he repair that building. And then I also included some rent and mortgage statistics. I won't go over those now, as the board has probably already seen those. Do you want me to read the zoning, the specific zoning that's associated with this, or is the board okay with having read it previously in the staff report?
If you could quickly touch on that, I think that would be appreciated.
So with the B4 district, the intent is to provide a variety of restricted retail stores and related activities of office buildings and establishments which occupy the primary retail frontage in the central business district. Additionally, though, it does state in that code that all uses permitted in residential districts or permitted in the View-4 district. So Village District 14.01, the intent of this ordinance is to recognize the history of the area as well as human values. And as such, the intent of this ordinance is to regulate demolition and to guide new development and construction in the Village District. In no manner is this ordinance to be interpreted to interfere with the delay of day-to-day activities and normal periodic maintenance of any home or structure and basic property rights. No attempt is made to create a situation of undue financial strain upon any business or resident. A lot to swallow, sorry. There are also guidelines for demolition that were included in the packet. I included that just help the board to know, I guess, the sort of process that's involved. The property maintenance code additionally also hits on demolition, and in summary of that, it basically just says that any time the cost of repairs exceed 100% of the value of the home, that demolition is essentially a route that the property owner can pursue. I also included a statement from Al Kuzma. I asked him to look at it to see what his thoughts were, because he's the building director of Greene County. And do you want me to read that as well, or?
No, I think we've got that.
But to sum it up, he essentially said it would probably be more cost effective to demo the structure and energy efficient, but he also said that there are, of course, historical significance and nostalgia to play into the equation. So at this point, the Village Review Board should decide whether or not it is feasible to allow the structure at 100 East Franklin to currently stand as it exists today, or if the applicant's demolition request is appropriate in this situation to allow for demolition of the structure. It is known that the structure has been in disrepair for at minimum 26 years, according to city records. It is also apparent that the inspections that the building is unsafe and unfit for occupancy. Additionally, since 2013, it has become evident that the property is a nuisance property. And I believe in the staff report also included that we have received at least every year violation complaints and also sent violation letters. The repair estimates provided by Mr. Clemens, who is the developer, are substantial. Both the property maintenance code and Article 14 state as to not cause any undue financial strain on the property owner when it comes to demolition or repair. Furthermore, the property code states that should the cost of repair exceed 100% of the current value of the structure, such repairs would be deemed unreasonable. The value, according to the Greene County Auditor, is $37,000, and the stated repairs would well exceed this amount. Further calculations of rent for 10 and 20 years, even a mortgage of 30 or more years, is well above the norm for what residents pay in Bellbrook. It is the duty of the Village Review Board to protect Bellbrook's history, but it also is to protect the residents as well in the village.
Do you know how old the building is?
I believe it's 120 years old, according to the Greene County Auditor's website.
Because I know it's been there as long as I can remember, and I've lived here 40 some years. I think it's unfortunate that it should come down, but it's one of those situations, because I've been over to it several times through the years, and everyone that's had it, I think they had good intentions to renovate and do things, and I don't know what happened, things just fell through. So now the inside is beyond repair. I mean, it's pretty much gutted.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything historically that can be salvaged out of the house. I didn't get in there. I could see through the windows, so I don't know if it has any really good solid beams or anything that could be salvaged. That's a discussion for another day, I guess. My only problem that I see right now is I'm kind of confused about applicant and owner. So what I'm understanding is the applicant is wanting to demolish the house, but the applicant doesn't own the house. Is that, or the property? Am I right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that some kind of strange technicality? Because I know
No.
down here on the letter of appropriateness, both the owner and the applicant are supposed to sign. And there's no signature anywhere for Dennis Edwards. There is though for the other guy, Mr. Clemens. I've counted his signature like 3 times,
I
but
did,
I'm not seeing the owner's signature anywhere. So
I
I'm a
did,
little confused.
I did speak with the owner, and the owner is fine to pursue demolition should Nate want to go down that way. I believe that the owner wants to just sell the property, and if demolition of the structure is a way for him to sell the property, then that's the way he would go. So according to, the conversation I had with him,
So it's
And-
kind of like, it's like if he, hold on, I'm confused again. So,
So I was gonna potentially buy the property, but I'm not gonna buy it if I can't tear that building down, because I can't do anything with it, with that structure there. But
okay,
if,
and he,
if I'm able to tear it down, then I'll go through with the contract on purchasing it so we can demo it and then do something in its place.
okay, do you know why he hasn't signed anything here that he would agree to
No, I
that?
couldn't get a hold of him when we were doing this, and then his son was in the hospital. And I know Jessica did talk to him over the phone, so I'm not sure
Okay.
why he didn't sign it, but
Because I mean, I read this, and I'm not trying to be stinky about it, but I'm looking at this going, okay, I got a neighbor whose shed's about ready to fall in, and it needs demolished and toted away. And could I go and be an applicant to demolish his shed? And he doesn't know anything about it, but I went and got all this done, and I can demolish his shed. I mean, that's why I'm wondering why the owner doesn't have a signature on here anywhere,
yeah.
and that's just the legality of it.
yeah, I'll be sure before anything even pursues with the demolition to make sure to get his signature. That's a failure on my part. I'm sorry. But I do have at least verbal approval for him to proceed with the demolition procedure. I made sure to get that.
Okay, and there's also a garage on there. Is that coming down too?
I would assume so, yes.
I mean, it's not attached. It's a separate building.
Right. The
So-
intention would be to tear both structures down.
And I don't know if that doesn't look half bad actually, and then there's some really significant trees on the lot. I mean, once you get it, I guess you do what you want. And I think some of it's in the floodplain in the back. So that's something to consider as well. That's a different story for a different day. But the back, where it goes back elongated, that's flood.
Okay.
So there's nothing you can really do much with that except maybe playground or something.
It's long, that part is so long, that right side of that lot's 301 feet deep. So
Yeah,
it would just be an empty grass playground area anyway.
it's a nice lot, actually.
It is.
It's a
It's
nice
big.
lot. Okay. I'm sorry, when I just was confused about all the signatures and none of them was the owners. Like
Well,
what?
he wants to sell it, and I, would buy it, but I'm not going to get into a contract with somebody to buy a piece of land that I can't tear that building down because I'm not going to be able to do anything with it. So I went forward to say I'll apply for the demo permit, see if we can get it approved and passed before me and the current owner go under contract to purchase the land.
I don't know if we had the one tore down near the library a few years ago, and it was beyond hope. So, I mean, it was a shame because it did have some historical value, but it was just so bad. I mean, it would cost more to
I
fix
have
it. than-
pictures of inside this place because I got them a while ago. It's rough. I mean,
Yeah.
there's structural issues everywhere. There's termite damage on the beams. it's not safe to be in. I mean, let alone.
Nothing in there we're saving far as parts or beams
May-
or,
Maybe some beams you could salvage if you could find some that aren't too rotted, but some of the ones you can see are definitely have termite damage and are rotted through. But that would have to come in,
yeah.
get in the demo and try to peel it apart and see if there's anything worth salvaging.
It'll definitely fool you because on the outside, it doesn't look bad.
No,
But when
yeah,
you look in the windows, it's bad. So,
really bad.
yeah, that siding kind of fools you.
It does.
Yeah, so.
So
Okay.
do you have thoughts if you end up with this 8/10 of an acre lot? What's your thoughts then?
Well, I'd like to be able to split it and put some historic resembling homes in its place to tie in with the current streetscape that Bellbrook has.
Gotcha. So with that frontage, how many homes are you thinking?
Just three. It's 162 feet. You can get three 54-foot wide lots, which is right in that area of the street down there. They're between 50 and 65 feet. I think a lot of those on that main street on East Franklin.
That's about the typical lot size down there.
So what would happen to the area in the floodplain if you put houses? What are you just gonna
So
board that off or?
no, it would be
What?
part of the lot. I did a little sketch. It's not, I don't even know if you guys can see it here, but
Yeah,
that long part there, that would just be part of the one lot, and that floodplain would just be the backyard to it.
Floodplain just clips that back of that long parcel. So as long as the structure is not in that part of the parcel, they don't have any problem with that. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I did not know there was floodplain back there, so we'd have to get the elevations and make sure everything's kept up above that anyway, but
well, they, I think they just reevaluated the floodplains not long ago. Cause our house was in flood zone for a while. Now it looks like we're not. I don't know why that happened, but when we first moved there, we weren't. And then years went by and we were, and now supposedly we're not. So I don't know how that works.
yeah, I don't-
You take some kind of aerial view and geographical stuff and figure it out. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, and most of the land down there is flood. So
even if floodplain was an issue there, he could build above base flood elevation and it would technically be permittable.
yeah. Building
Please.
something in a flood zone that doesn't have a lot of requirements, it costs a heck of a lot of money.
If
So,
you're
No,
above
you
it,
just, yeah, you just have to
ele-
raise the elevation, that's all.
well, that can get pricey.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Good opportunity to get some new sidewalk put in anyway.
yep. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Clemens, is there anything else from your perspective for us?
I mean, me looking at it, I know it's the building's beyond repair. And again, I don't know if you guys have seen it, if you've seen the pictures that I've gotten inside it. I mean, it benefits, I think, the town to be able to put something new and fresh in its place, but also that ties in with the existing streetscape of Bellbrook. So doing a historical style home, but built new, but has the architecture features that they would, like it was built many years ago, 100 years ago, just to tie into the city is what we're trying to do.
All right. So you reviewed the village district requirements on buildings?
I did not, no,
Okay.
but I can if that's needed.
Well, this is being in this part of the village. There's some overlays that get into as far as some characteristics
Okay.
that the village does want to try to maintain, having to do with gables and odds and ends and types of windows, long, tall windows and things of that nature. Yeah,
And I got
they're
some,
not bad. It's
I
not
got
oak
some
wood.
prelim drawings that I've seen. I don't have any with me, but just the ones that I know that I would go to for obviously approval if you need them on the styles that I'm kind of thinking that would tie in.
Yeah, so when before construction actually does start, it would come back to the village for approval then. But as long as it is, historical in appearance and it meets all that sort of, it meets the tall narrow windows and the tall narrow door that sort of thing, that sort of vibe. Probably won't have a problem with it at all. So
Yeah, and that's the kind of the style it would have. I mean,
that's more so than there, a lot of other buildings in downtown.
Yeah.
Belton.
Well, I know that backs up to Reynolds. And then the one section out on the end are condos I think are sold individually. So I didn't know if you were considering making condos or
I was originally
apartments
thinking
or,
just residential, just new,
yeah.
single family.
Hmm.
I would like to try if I can get it to fit on the lot, depending on what the restrictions are for your site setbacks is due. Because they're kind of narrow houses that are deep, 2 stories, and do a detached garage because it can help get privacy from the backyards. And there's plenty of space on the short side. It's still 168 feet deep. And when you go the size wise to fit it, I mean, I've done a house that's only 24 feet wide. So that gives you enough space to get a driveway to get back to do a detached garage around back. Just so it all ties in and fits in with the street.
Sure, and I mean, they're doing more and more of that type of thing, or either backing around. I mean, the big development over there on off of Darst and the same thing. They're behind the house.
Yeah, the alley loaded.
Yeah. So,
which I would have liked to do that here, but there's no way. I don't think I can get an alley. I don't think it's even worth trying to get an alley back there.
I don't think you could.
you spend more on blacktop. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Well, is comments, questions, anything else on this?
You might look into, I think where the condos are in the back, that's a parking lot in the middle. I mean, I'm sure it'd have to be something to do with variances. I mean, that might be an option if they would let you connect an open area that would drive through there, but that's just an idea. And I don't know if there's a lot of children back there or not. I haven't seen any. We own some properties back in there and there's not a whole lot of kids, but still, I'm just saying as an alleyway, you might be able to get something through there. I don't know. You could look into that if you're interested.
Yeah, I mean, looking at an aerial, it could possibly. I know right where you're talking, where that parking lot's at, but you also got power lines in the back there, so I don't know if that would come into play.
Yeah.
I could revisit it again if it moves forward. But at this point, I would probably just do tight, narrow house with the driveway alongside it back to a detached garage, if that would,
I mean, it's just an idea that,
yeah.
I mean, it may not even be feasible. I don't know, but I do know that that's an open area in between the 2 condos. So, and then your property would back up to that.
Right.
On the one
They have
side.
to grant us an easement, right, to get through, access easement to get in there.
Yeah, and the rest of that is all one level apartments, that on Ryder. Those are all one level. So I don't think you could get through there at all. But anyway, just an idea.
Well, certainly the 2-story with the detached garage is what was built many, many years ago. So, okay. Anyone else? Miss McGill, any questions?
No. I'm looking at pictures of it on Google Earth, so I can see what you're talking about right now. No, I think it would look nice to have narrow 2-story houses.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, Mr. Camp.
I like it. I think everything he's saying sounds great for downtown.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. Okay, do we have a motion?
I move that we approve the demolition of the property at 100 East Franklin Street. I think I worded that right.
And does your motion include demolition of the garage?
I would say structures.
I guess, Was the garage part of it? I mean, it was going to be done.
It's
Demolished
detached, but in my mind, I was thinking the garage would go with it. I didn't know if I need a separate demolition permit for it or not.
Okay, then I'll say, and the accompanying garage. Or other existing structures.
Yeah,
You got a
other
good coach.
accessory structures.
Yes, that sounds better.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Very good. Any other questions or comments or discussion?
Mr. Clemens, do you do the demolition or do you have somebody, you contract somebody to do
We
it?
would contract it out, but yeah, we know some guys that do demo the house. I know we might have to get a permit from the county, do a whole inspection process on it, and then after it's gone, they come back and inspect it again.
There's some stuff I was gonna touch on after the approval, basically, but yeah, you would need to get a permit from the county, so.
Right.
Okay. A motion was made by Mrs. McGill to approve 2139. The demolition request for the structure at 100 East Franklin Street and all accessory buildings. And this was seconded by Mr. Camp. Mrs. McGill,
Yes,
Mr. Camp,
Yes.
Mrs. Greenwood,
Yes,
Chairman Owens.
Yes. Okay, there you go, Mr. Clemens, round one.
All right.
So, it sounds like we'll get to meet with you some more later.
Sounds good. Appreciate it, guys.
So you can stay if you want to hear this, Nate, because it's sort of relevant to you, I guess.
Okay.
It'll only be a couple seconds. So we are going to be submitting a change to the demolition ordinance. Bring it up here. So first, we're going to list that a certificate of appropriateness needs to be a part of the application for a demolition permit, and that additionally, a demolition permit issued by the county is able to be transferred from one owner to another with a letter provided by the county by permit holder listing a new owner. These are just a couple added things that we realized that we didn't add in the demolition ordinance that was passed in 2019. So I'll bring those up, and that'll, of course, is relevant to Nate. So that's it for me, I guess.
Okay, very good. Is any further open discussions? Other than Jessica, that's a very fancy chair.
Well, I was actually talking to Michaela about it today. I'm like, I wonder if they noticed that I have this weird chair.
Well, I assume that has something to do with Arizona.
It does. It has. It's the Arizona Sun Devils, I think that it is. I don't care. It was a chair that was on discount.
Okay, well, that's what you have. I'll help you out on that one for sure. Okay. Anything else? Very good. With that, we'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.